Chosen one, stop for a moment and give this your full attention. Heaven is not correcting your heart in this moment. Heaven is celebrating something you almost forgot about yourself. God has seen what people missed, and He has been watching the quiet choices you made when nobody was there to applaud you. You kept going when your heart felt tired. You stayed gentle when anger would have been easier. You carried disappointment without letting it poison every room you entered. And while others only saw the surface of your life, God saw the private battles that shaped your character when no one offered comfort. There were moments when you could have answered pain with pain. You already had the sharp words ready inside you. You knew exactly what could hurt them back. But something inside you chose restraint, and that quiet choice mattered more than you realized, because heaven measures what the world often ignores. You have wondered if that silence meant weakness. You have questioned whether walking away made you look small. You have replayed old conversations and imagined stronger answers. But God was not measuring how loudly you defended yourself. He was watching whether bitterness gained control of your heart. Chosen one, there is a reason this feels personal. You have spent too many seasons being strong for everyone else. You still showed up when other people disappeared. You listened with patience when nobody listened to you. And many times, the people who received your kindness never understood what it cost you to keep giving while your own heart needed care. You gave grace while carrying your own wounds. You prayed for people who never thanked you. You protected names that could have been exposed. You kept private things private, even after trust was broken, because somewhere deep inside you still wanted your response to reflect who you were becoming. You may have felt invisible during that process. Some days you wondered if God saw anything at all. You watched people celebrate others while your own efforts stayed hidden. And because nothing seemed to change quickly, you quietly asked whether your faithfulness had been forgotten or whether you had somehow missed your season. Listen carefully, because this is where many people misread the story. Delay is not always a sign of rejection. Silence is not always proof of divine disappointment. A closed door is not always a form of punishment. Sometimes the deepest work happens where nobody can praise it, because public recognition would interrupt what God is forming in private. Think about the last time you chose peace over proving your point. Nobody stood nearby to give you any reward. No one publicly celebrated the maturity you showed there. There was no visible sign that heaven responded. Yet, that moment carried weight, because you were choosing your future character over the temporary satisfaction of winning an argument. Think about the night you cried and still refused to become cruel. You felt disappointed more deeply than people could see. You felt misunderstood by people you once trusted deeply. You felt completely alone inside that private moment. But somewhere beneath the hurt, you made a quiet decision that pain would not decide the kind of person you would become. That decision is one reason this message is finding you now. Not because you have somehow become completely perfect, not because you handled every painful moment correctly, not because you never became tired or angry. Heaven is responding to the direction of your heart, the direction you kept choosing even when emotion pulled another way. There is a difference between having a soft heart and abandoning yourself. You are beginning to understand that important difference now. You can forgive and still close a door. You can love someone and still refuse chaos. And you can remain compassionate while finally admitting that constant access to your time and peace is not a right anyone automatically receives. This is important because some of your deepest exhaustion came from confusing genuine goodness with endless availability to everyone around you. You thought being chosen meant always saying yes. You believed faithfulness meant carrying everyone who needed you. But God never asked you to destroy your peace just to prove to other people that your heart was truly pure. You are learning a stronger form of kindness now. This new kindness has real wisdom living inside it. It also carries deeper discernment inside your choices now. It can finally say no without carrying hatred afterward. And while that change may confuse people who benefited from your old patterns, heaven sees it as evidence that your heart is becoming both tender and strong. Chosen one, do not confuse this new calm with emotional distance. Your heart is not becoming cold or uncaring now. It is becoming ordered, clear, and spiritually steady. You are learning where compassion belongs, where responsibility ends, and where another person must finally carry what they keep trying to place on you. Heaven is celebrating that quiet maturity growing inside you. God is not asking you to return to the exhausted version of yourself who survived every relationship by constantly overgiving. He is drawing out a steadier version, one who can serve without disappearing, love without losing clarity, and forgive without reopening every door that damaged your peace. But there is still something deeper that you have not seen. The celebration is not only about what you stopped doing, it is about one specific quality that remained inside you while everything around you changed. And that quality explains why your next season requires a different kind of strength. You may think the answer is simply your patience. Patience is certainly one important part of it. You may think the answer is your willingness to forgive. That willingness to forgive certainly matters here too. You may even think the answer is your loyalty. But the deepest reason goes beyond those things, and once you see it, several painful chapters of your life will begin to make sense. Before we go there, notice what your spirit is doing right now. You are remembering moments you dismissed because nobody celebrated them. You are seeing old choices from a different angle, and that recognition matters deeply because healing often begins when you finally stop calling your quiet strength a weakness that needs outside approval. If these words are naming something you have carried silently, write "seen" below. Do not write it below to impress anyone else. Let it mark the moment you stopped dismissing what your heart survived, because recognition becomes powerful when it no longer depends on another person giving you permission. Stay close and keep your full attention here now. The next part will show why heaven is not merely pleased with your kindness. There are 3 hidden qualities God has been forming beneath that kindness, and one of them is the reason your old way of giving can no longer follow you into what comes next. Chosen one, heaven is celebrating your heart because it remained alive under pressure. You were tested in places nobody could see, and you still kept choosing what was right when easier reactions were available. That does not mean you never felt anger, fear, or disappointment. It means those feelings did not become the final authority over who you chose to be. The first thing heaven saw was your restraint. You had opportunities to expose people, embarrass them, or return the same energy they gave you. You could have made certain situations much worse with only a few words. But you stepped back, and even when your silence was misunderstood, you chose not to let one painful moment turn you into someone you would regret becoming. The second thing heaven saw was your compassion. You noticed pain in people even when they did not explain it well. You often sensed when someone needed patience more than judgment. And although that sensitivity sometimes left you drained, it revealed something beautiful about you, because your instinct was often to understand before you condemned. But compassion without wisdom can become exhaustion. You have learned that lesson the hard way. You cannot keep pouring into every person who refuses responsibility for their own choices. And you cannot call it love when your peace is constantly being sacrificed to keep someone else comfortable. This is where your next level of maturity begins. You are not being asked to care less. You are being taught to care with clarity. You can have a generous heart and still recognize when your attention is being pulled in too many directions, because a distracted mind can make even a strong spirit feel tired and uncertain. There is something practical I want to place here, because many people in this season are trying to rebuild focus after long periods of emotional noise. A simple tool can sometimes help create a calmer routine, especially when you use it as support rather than as a substitute for discernment, prayer, rest, or wise action. One tool mentioned in this community is called the Genius Song. It is a short 7-minute audio designed to support a focused listening routine through layered sound patterns, and the product describes this approach as being connected with gamma activity. Think of it as a structured pause for your mind, not as a promise of miracles or instant transformation. If that idea fits your season, you can explore it later with no pressure. You do not need to decide anything right now. Rebuilding clarity can become easier when you create small moments where your mind is not being pulled in many directions. For now, return to what heaven has been showing you about your heart. The third thing heaven saw was your willingness to keep your heart open without staying available to every harmful pattern. This is the hardest lesson of the three. Anyone can become cold after enough disappointment, but you are learning something higher, how to stay compassionate while becoming more selective about what you allow near your peace. That is why some relationships feel different now. You are not chasing the same approval. You are not explaining every boundary until you are exhausted. And you are beginning to notice that people who truly respect you do not require you to abandon yourself in order to keep them comfortable. Chosen one, this shift may feel strange because your old identity was built around being needed. You were often the listener, the fixer, the calm one, or the person who carried what others dropped. Being useful became familiar. But there is a difference between being useful and being valued, and heaven is teaching you to stop confusing the two. You do not have to earn love by solving every problem. You do not have to prove your goodness by answering every call. You do not have to rescue people from lessons they keep choosing to avoid. And you do not have to feel guilty for protecting the energy you need to fulfill your own responsibilities. This is where many chosen ones lose years. They keep mistaking access for assignment. Someone has a crisis, so they assume they must fix it. Someone feels disappointed, so they assume they must surrender their boundary. But not every demand is a divine instruction, and not every emotional reaction around you means you did something wrong. Heaven is celebrating because you are beginning to see that clearly. You are becoming a more grounded intercessor, not a more exhausted one. You are becoming a wiser cycle breaker, not a more available target. And you are learning that a watchman must protect the gate, because discernment means little if every influence is still allowed to enter. There were times when you said yes because you feared being misunderstood. There were times when you apologized just to end tension, even when you had not betrayed your values. You swallowed your own needs to keep peace on the surface. But heaven was not training you to become invisible. It was teaching you the difference between real peace and temporary avoidance. Real peace can survive honesty. Real love can survive a healthy no. Real connection does not require constant self-abandonment. And when a relationship collapses only because you finally became truthful about your limits, that collapse may reveal what the relationship was depending on all along. This is why the delay in your life has felt so confusing. You thought you were waiting for a door to open. In reality, part of the preparation was learning who should not follow you through that door with the same access they had before. A new season requires new stewardship, and stewardship begins with what you permit around your mind and heart. This is also why heaven is not celebrating your perfection. Perfection was never the point. Your heart is being honored because you kept returning to truth after moments of weakness. You made mistakes, but you corrected course. You became tired, but you did not surrender your values. You felt anger, but you kept asking who you wanted to become when the emotion passed. That return matters. Character is not proven by never stumbling. It is revealed by what direction you choose after you realize you have drifted. And you have returned more times than you give yourself credit for, quietly, without applause, without needing everyone to know how much inner work it took. There is one more layer to this, and it explains why your next season may feel peaceful and unfamiliar. Heaven is not merely helping you recover from what happened. You are being prepared to operate from a different internal pattern, one where clarity becomes stronger than urgency, and identity becomes stronger than the need to be constantly understood. In the next movement, you will see why this pattern appears before elevation. You will also see why certain delays were not meaningless, and why the strongest version of you is not the loudest one. It is the one who can remain clear, compassionate, and steady when pressure tries to pull you back into old reactions. Chosen one. There is a pattern that often appears before a person becomes ready for responsibility. The pattern is still. It is a season where the heart is tested in ordinary moments, because what you do when nobody is watching reveals what pressure will uncover later. Think about Joseph. Long before he stood in a place of influence, he endured rejection, delay, and years, when his future seemed disconnected from the promise he carried. His story was not built on instant recognition. It was built on character surviving seasons without quick recognition. Think about David. Before anyone celebrated him publicly, he learned faithfulness in hidden places. He cared for what was in front of him. He developed courage away from the crowd. And when pressure arrived, he revealed strength already formed quietly. That pattern matters for you. You have been looking at certain delays as wasted time. You have wondered why things took longer than expected. But some seasons were teaching you how to carry peace before carrying more influence, because expansion without inner stability can turn even a blessing into another source of pressure. Maybe you learned to stop chasing people who kept choosing distance. Maybe you learned to recognize when fear was rushing your decisions. Maybe you finally learned that peace should not require you to betray your own values. That is not wasted time. That is inner preparation. This is the pattern of the heart before elevation. Clarity comes before stewardship. Boundaries come before greater access. Quiet faithfulness comes before visible responsibility. And many times, the path that feels slow prevents you from repeating old patterns when new opportunities finally arrive. You are not being prepared to become louder. You are being prepared to become steadier. A steady person does not have to react to every opinion. A steady person can hear criticism without collapsing. And a steady person can receive praise without becoming addicted to it, because identity is no longer being negotiated with every voice in the room. This is why the old version of you cannot lead the next season. That version over-explained everything. That version tried to manage how everyone felt. That version sometimes confused urgency with importance. But the person emerging now is learning to pause long enough to ask whether something deserves a response at all. That pause is powerful. It gives wisdom room to speak before emotion takes over. It gives you a moment to settle before making a permanent decision from a temporary feeling. And it creates distance between what happened to you and what you choose to do next. Your mind may be craving that kind of space. Prayer, quiet walking, journaling, slow breathing, or a short listening practice can create a calmer moment before you decide what deserves your attention. The audio mentioned earlier is only one optional example. Its creators describe it as a 7-minute focus practice built around layered sound patterns. You do not need to treat any tool as magic. The deeper goal is to become less reactive, more attentive, and more intentional with your energy. Now, look again at the biblical pattern. Moses spent years away from the center of attention before carrying public responsibility. Esther moved carefully before speaking at a decisive moment. Nehemiah did not announce everything the instant he felt concern. He observed, planned, prayed, and then acted with intention. Different stories, same principle. Preparation often looks quieter than people expect. Wisdom does not always move first. Sometimes wisdom watches, sometimes wisdom waits, and sometimes the strongest move is refusing to let pressure choose your timing for you. Chosen one. This is where your identity as a watchman becomes important. A watchman does not panic at every sound. A watchman pays attention. A watchman learns patterns. And a watchman protects what matters by distinguishing between a real signal and unnecessary noise. You have spent enough time responding to every signal as if it were an emergency. Someone becomes distant, and your mind searches for what you did wrong. Someone sends a cold message, and you replay it for hours. A plan changes, and fear immediately tries to tell you that everything is falling apart. That pattern is losing its power now. You are learning not to build an entire future from one uncomfortable moment. You are learning to gather more information. You are learning to wait before assigning meaning. And that change will protect your peace in ways you may not fully understand yet. Remember this, because a major reveal is approaching. The deepest evidence that heaven saw your heart was not found in your easiest moments. It was found when you had enough pain to justify becoming someone else, but you kept returning to the person you knew you were called to become. That truth changes how you see the season behind you. There are chapters you still judge only by what they took from you. But some of those chapters also revealed what they could not take. They could take comfort and familiarity, yet they could not permanently take your capacity to return to truth. That is why the old pain does not get the final word. It may explain some of your reactions, but it does not own your identity. It may have shaped your caution, but it does not have to decide your future. Your boundaries can change while your heart still remains open to what is healthy and real. If this is speaking to your season, share this message with one person who has been learning to rebuild quietly. Some people simply need language for what they have been living through, and one thoughtful share can remind them that growth does not always look dramatic from the outside. Now stay with this, because the next part is where the central mystery begins to close. You are about to see why being unseen by people did not mean being unseen by heaven. You are also going to understand why your boundaries, your restraint, and your refusal to become bitter were all pointing toward the same hidden truth. There is one final distinction you need before that reveal. A soft heart is not a weak heart. A soft heart can say no. A soft heart can walk away. A soft heart can stop explaining itself to people committed to misunderstanding it. And a soft heart can remain peaceful without reopening every door simply because someone knocks again. This is the maturity heaven has been forming. Not endless tolerance, not silent self-abandonment, not fear disguised as kindness. It is compassion with discernment, patience with boundaries, and faithfulness without the need to perform goodness for an audience. The reason heaven is celebrating you today is becoming clearer. You were not being measured by how much you could endure forever. You were being formed into someone who could recognize what deserves love, what requires distance, and what must finally be released without hatred. And this is where the story turns. The next revelation is not about proving that you suffered enough. It is about realizing that suffering never gained ownership of your heart. Once that truth lands fully, the season behind you will stop looking like evidence that you were forgotten and start looking like evidence that something essential in you survived. Chosen one. This is the moment the central mystery begins to close. You were never unseen. The silence around your growth did not mean heaven had turned away. The hidden seasons were revealing something more important than public approval, because what survived inside you became evidence of who you were becoming. You thought the story was about what people failed to notice. It was deeper than that. Heaven was watching what pain failed to steal. It did not permanently steal your compassion. It did not permanently steal your desire for truth. And it did not permanently steal your ability to return to peace after disappointment tried to harden you. This is why God is celebrating your heart today. Not because you never struggled, not because you never became angry, not because you always knew what to do. Heaven is celebrating because suffering did not gain ownership of your heart, and that is the hidden truth behind the season you thought was only about loss. Let that land slowly. You were pressured, but pressure did not become your identity. You were misunderstood, but misunderstanding did not become your permanent language. You were disappointed, but disappointment did not become the ruler of every future decision. Something inside you kept returning to what was honest and clean. That return is the evidence. It happened when nobody praised you. It happened when there was no visible reward. And it happened after moments when you could have chosen bitterness, but you still knew bitterness was not the home you wanted to build inside yourself. This does not mean you must reopen every door. It does not mean you must trust everyone again. It does not mean wisdom requires you to forget what happened. A healed heart can remember a lesson without carrying hatred, and a strong boundary can protect peace without turning your compassion cold. Chosen one, this is where your new season begins. You are no longer being asked to prove how much you can tolerate. You are being taught how to steward what survived. Your peace matters. Your attention matters. Your clarity matters. Because the next chapter cannot be carried well if every old demand still has access to your mind. This is the strength heaven was forming. You can remain kind without becoming available to confusion. You can remain faithful without volunteering for exhaustion. And you can remain open to healthy connection while refusing the old pattern where love meant proving yourself through endless sacrifice. That is freedom. It is not revenge. It is not pretending nothing mattered. It is the decision to stop giving yesterday authority over tomorrow. And when you make that decision from a clear heart, you stop asking pain for permission to become peaceful again. Now notice how the entire pattern connects. Your restraint taught you that every feeling does not require action. Your compassion taught you that tenderness is still part of your strength. Your boundaries taught you that love without wisdom becomes depletion. Together, those lessons formed the heart heaven is celebrating now. This is why the next step must come from clarity, not panic, not pressure, not the fear that you are running out of time. When your mind is crowded, even simple decisions can feel enormous, but when you create space, you can notice which choices bring peace and which ones repeat an old pattern. This is the point of closure. The question was never whether heaven saw you. The answer is yes. The real question was what heaven saw when no one else was looking. It saw a heart that kept returning to truth, even after pressure gave you many reasons to become someone completely different. Now that the mystery is clear, there is one practical decision in front of you. Protect the clarity you fought hard to rebuild. That may mean better rest. It may mean fewer unnecessary conversations. It may mean prayer before reacting. And it may mean creating a short daily practice where your mind can settle before the noise begins. For some people, that practice is silence. For others, it is journaling, walking, prayer, or slow breathing. The specific tool matters less than the consistency. A calm mind does not make every choice perfect, but it can help you notice when fear is driving and when wisdom is asking you to slow down. If you want another structured option, this is where the Genius Song may fit. It is a 7-minute digital audio designed as a focused listening practice with headphones. Its creators describe the layered sound approach as supporting gamma-related mental activity. But it should be treated as a focus tool, not as a medical treatment or guaranteed result. The idea is simple. You create 7 uninterrupted minutes. You put on headphones. You listen without trying to force an outcome. Instead of using those minutes to chase another answer, you let them become a boundary around your attention, a small daily signal that your mind deserves space before the world starts pulling at it. The product materials connect gamma activity with focus, intuition, and flow. Those are claims made by the creators, not promises that every listener will experience the same thing. What matters here is the principle behind the practice, because clarity grows when you stop treating every moment like an emergency. The strongest reason to consider any tool is not hype, it is fit. Does it support a routine you will actually use? Does it help you create a repeatable moment of attention? Does it match the calm discipline you are trying to build? Those questions matter more than dramatic promises. But keep the larger truth in front of you. No audio creates your identity. No purchase makes heaven celebrate you. No tool replaces prayer, wisdom, boundaries, rest, or responsible action. A tool can support a practice, but the heart being celebrated was formed through choices you already made when nobody could see them. That is why this moment is different. You are not reaching for something because you are broken. You are choosing whether a simple practice supports the person you are becoming. Desperation asks anything to save it, while clarity can examine an option and calmly decide whether it belongs. Chosen one, heaven saw what survived. Heaven saw the restraint. Heaven saw the compassion. Heaven saw the boundaries beginning to form. And now you are being invited to protect those gains, because the next chapter is not about returning to the version of you who proved love by carrying everyone. The next chapter is about receiving without proving. It is about allowing peace to feel normal. It is about learning that a quiet life can still be powerful. And it is about understanding that God can be pleased with your heart before the world has any idea how much changed inside you. Stay with this final movement. There is still a sacred seal to place over everything you have heard. You will not leave this message only knowing that heaven saw you. You will leave knowing how to carry that recognition without turning it into pride, pressure, or another reason to perform for people. Chosen one, receive this final truth without rushing past it. You do not need to prove that heaven sees you anymore. You do not need more evidence from people who were never present in your private battles. God has already seen the direction of your heart, and now your responsibility is to carry that recognition with peace. There is a new way to move from this point forward. It is quieter than the old way. You do not need constant confirmation. You do not need everyone to understand your boundaries, and you do not need to explain every decision, because maturity often means knowing what is true without demanding that every person agree. Receive peace without apologizing for it. Receive rest without calling yourself lazy. Receive distance from confusion without turning that distance into hatred. You have spent enough time proving your value through exhaustion, and heaven is not asking you to return to a pattern that kept your heart available while your own needs were ignored. You are allowed to become more selective now. That does not make you cruel. It makes you responsible for what enters your inner world. A watchman does not guard the gate because everyone outside is an enemy. He guards it because not everything belongs inside what has been entrusted to him. This is the sacred shift. You can remain soft without remaining unprotected. You can remain generous without becoming depleted. You can remain compassionate without answering every demand. And you can continue loving people while accepting that some relationships need distance for peace to remain real. Now, return to the practical choice we opened earlier. If you want a simple listening practice to support focus time, the Genius Song is one option you can examine. It is designed as a 7-minute digital audio for headphone listening, and its creators present it as a routine built around layered sound patterns associated with gamma activity. The creators connect that approach with focus, intuition, and flow. Those are product claims, not guarantees, and your experience may be different. The value is not in treating an audio track like magic. The value is in deciding whether a short, repeatable practice can help you protect a few minutes of undistracted attention each day. The product materials reference academic interest in gamma activity and mention MIT and Harvard. They also report 18,366 users and refunds below 4%. Treat those as seller-supplied claims, not independent proof, and review the current official page before relying on them. Keep your expectations grounded. Use it as a listening routine, not as a replacement for sleep, professional care, prayer, wise decisions, or consistent action. 7 minutes can create a useful pause, but your life still changes through the choices you make before and after those 7 minutes. The current offer, described in the product materials, is $39 as a one-time purchase, reduced from $49 for the video audience. It also includes 4 digital bonuses that the creators value at a combined $80. The important question is not whether the number sounds impressive. The important question is whether you would actually use what you receive. Those bonuses include Genius Child, a classic book collection, a guided visualization, and a 5-habit infographic. You do not need to value every bonus equally. Look at the full package with a clear mind. If the main audio and the supporting materials fit your routine, then the offer may make sense for you. The materials also describe a 90-day guarantee. They state that you can request a refund within that period and still keep the 4 bonuses. Read the terms on the official page before making any decision, because the written checkout information should be your final reference for current pricing, guarantee details, and access instructions. There is no need for artificial pressure here. You do not need to act because someone says a timer is running out. You do not need to fear that your destiny disappears if you wait. The only urgency worth respecting is the cost of staying in habits you already know are keeping your attention scattered and your days reactive. If you choose to check it, use the official link below rather than searching random copies. The product materials warn that unofficial versions may appear elsewhere under similar names. Verify the page, read the details, and decide calmly. Clarity is part of the practice before you ever press play. And if you decide it is not for you, nothing about this message changes. Heaven is not more pleased with you because you purchased something. God does not measure your heart by a checkout page. The tool is optional. The identity is not. The peace you are learning to protect is still yours to practice every day. Chosen one, remember what heaven celebrated. It was not your ability to suffer endlessly. It was your refusal to let suffering permanently define you. It was your willingness to return to truth. It was the compassion that survived disappointment and the wisdom that finally taught that compassion where to stop. This is what it means to become a generational cycle breaker. You do not break a cycle by hating everyone who participated in it. You break it by refusing to repeat what wounded you. You choose healthier responses. You tell the truth sooner. And you stop teaching others that love must always look like self-abandonment. When that happens, return to simple things. Slow down. Pray honestly. Rest when you need rest. Write down what is true. Speak with someone trustworthy when you need another perspective. And create enough quiet to hear your own thoughts before the loudest voice around you decides what you should feel. So receive this without turning it into another performance. You do not have to become impressive now. You do not have to prove that you are healed. You do not have to show anyone how chosen you are. Let your life become quieter, wiser, and more consistent. Because real transformation does not need constant announcement. If this message has confirmed something growing inside you, write, "I receive peace" below. Let those words become a simple declaration. Not a promise that life will never become difficult again, but a decision that difficulty will no longer have unlimited permission to rule your mind. Chosen one, heaven is celebrating you today because your heart survived without surrendering its deepest values. God has seen the quiet returns, the restrained responses, the private prayers, and the boundaries you struggled to build. What people missed was never hidden from heaven. You were never invisible. You were never required to become harder just to become stronger. And you were never asked to lose yourself in order to prove that your heart was good. The next chapter begins with a simpler assignment. Stay clear, stay grounded, stay compassionate, and let wisdom decide where your love belongs. Receive the celebration, receive the lesson, receive the peace. Heaven saw what people missed, and now you can finally see it too. Your heart did not survive by accident. Again and again, you chose to return to truth. Chosen one, carry that truth with you and let your life become the evidence.